And today we're tackling Robert Greene's, well, let's just say influential book, 48 Laws of Power. We'll explore the core ideas using some of the historical examples Greene himself uses.
Yeah, it's quite a sweep of history in there. You've got ancient figures, Renaissance players, all sorts.
Right, so our aim here is to distill some of that, give you a sort of strategic shortcut to understanding these power dynamics without, getting bogged down in hundreds of pages of history.
A framework for seeing how these interactions often play out.
Okay, let's dive in. Law 1. Never outshine the master. This one, it immediately grabs you, maybe makes you a bit uncomfortable, feels like it goes against pushing yourself.
It does on the surface. But Greene's point is that climbing the ladder often means making sure the people above you feel secure, comfortable, superior even.
So showing off your brilliance, even if you don't mean it badly, could actually backfire.
Absolutely. It can trigger their insecurity, make them see you as a threat. It's a very subtle political game sometimes.
The book uses that amazing story of Nicolas Fouquet and Louis XIV. Fouquet throws this incredible party at Versailles, presumably to impress the king, show loyalty.
Right. His intentions were probably good, showcasing France's glory, his own capability in service of the king. But the sheer, overwhelming magnificence of it.
It was too much.
It seems so. Every amazing detail, every spectacle might have just highlighted Fouquet's own influence and resources, making the young Louis feel, well, diminished in his own kingdom.
And Louis didn't just say, hey, tone it down. It was more insidious, like this unease built up until he found a pretext to get rid of Fouquet.
That's the key takeaway, isn't it? Perception becomes reality. Louis's ego felt challenged. There's that great quote from Gratian and something like, a subject being superior to his prince isn't just stupid, it's fatal.
Oof. So for you, the listener, it's about being smart with your talents. Not hiding them, but knowing how and when to display them, keeping the boss's ego in mind.
Mm-hmm. Being aware of those sensitivities.
But there's a flip side, the reversal. What if the master is fading, losing power?
Ah, yes. The reversal suggests that if your superior is clearly a falling star, as Greene puts it, then carefully, strategically outshining them might actually speed up their decline and open a path for you.
Carefully being the key word.
Crucial. You have to be discreet. Avoid looking cruel or like you're kicking someone when they're down, especially if they're weak. Optics are everything, maybe even more so during transitions.
Okay, moving to another law that feels pretty direct. Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Sounds, well, opportunistic.
It has that ring to it, definitely.
Yeah.
But the principle behind it is really about efficiency, maximizing your impact.
How so?
By using the talents and efforts of others, you save your own time and energy for, the bigger picture, the strategic thinking. And the success ultimately reflects on your leadership.
The politician using a speechwriter is the classic example given, right?
Yeah, exactly. The politician get the applause for the powerful words, but someone else did the groundwork. Think of it like conducting an orchestra.
You guide it, you get the credit for the performance.
Precisely. And Bismarck apparently said something like, "Fools learn by experience. I prefer to profit by others' experience." Why start from scratch if you can leverage existing expertise?
Okay, let's shift to asking for things. Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. This feels a bit more pragmatic.
I think so. It taps into a basic human motivation.
Yeah.
What's in it for me? Instead of hoping someone feels sorry for you or remembers a past favor.
Which might not happen.
Right. It's unreliable. Instead, you frame your request to show the other person how they benefit. What's their gain?
And that ties into another law, doesn't it? Law 33, about finding someone's thumbscrew, their specific needs or desires.
Absolutely. If you understand what drives someone, what they want or need, you can tailor your appeal directly to their self-interest. Greene calls self-interest the lever that will move people.
So focus on the win-win.
Always focus on the win-win. Mercy, gratitude, they're just too unpredictable.
Now, dealing with enemies. Law 15 is blunt. Crush your enemy totally. No half measures allowed here.
It's based on historical observations, really. Leaders learned the hard way that leaving an enemy wounded, even slightly, just invites future trouble. Resentment festers, they regroup, they seek revenge.
So it's about completely removing their ability to strike back.
Yes, neutralizing the threat entirely, not just physically, but their power base, their influence. It's about preventing future problems before they start.
Seems pretty ruthless, but then, almost contradicting it, you have Law 22. Use the surrender tactic. How do those two fit together?
Ah, that's a great point. They seem opposite, but Law 22 isn't about actual defeat. It's a strategic play.
Like faking them out.
Sort of. By seemingly surrendering, you can buy yourself time. You might confuse your opponent, make them complacent, let them exhaust themselves. It denies them the satisfaction of a clear win.
So it's like a strategic retreat, turning weakness into a potential weapon.
Exactly. You yield ground temporarily to create an opportunity later. It unsettles the conqueror, gives you space to maneuver or wait for circumstances to change.
Okay, let's talk focus. Law 23. Concentrate your forces.
Okay.
This is about not spreading yourself too thin, right?
Precisely. Find the rich mine, that key patron, that crucial project, and pour your energy into that. Intensity beats diffusion. Better to drill deep in one spot than scratch the surface everywhere.
But then we see the danger of relying too much on one source. Cesar Borgia's story is a stark warning. His power vanished when his father, the Pope, died.
Yeah, that connects to Law 24, play the perfect courtier, but also highlights the risk here. Borgia's entire structure depended on his father. When that single pillar went, everything collapsed.
So concentrate forces, but also diversify your base. Seems tricky.
It's a balance. Cultivate that key relationship, but don't let it be your only source of strength. Maintain some independence. Build other connections. Be resilient.
Thinking long-term comes up in Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. It's not just about the first step, but seeing the whole path.
Absolutely. You need to think through consequences, obstacles, what the final victory actually looks like, and what comes after.
Like Balboa, who kept pushing towards his goal for years, despite setbacks.
Exactly that kind of persistence, driven by a clear vision of the end goal. You anticipate the twists and turns. You don't just react, you have a roadmap.
Now for some psychological maneuvering, Law 31. Control the options, get others to play with the cards you deal. This is clever.
It's about the illusion of choice, really. You present options, but structure them so that any choice they make ultimately serves your purpose.
They feel like they decided, but you framed the decision.
That's the core of it. Ivan the Terrible offering the Russians a choice, him ruling absolutely or chaos without him. It's a stark example, but it shows the principle. They chose his rule, seemingly.
Okay, let's shift to personal bearing. Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. Basically, project confidence.
And dignity, self-assurance. How you carry yourself profoundly influences how others perceive and interact with you. If you act like you deserve respect, like you have inherent worth, people tend to grant it.
Like the contrast between Louis Philippe, who apparently lacked that royal air, and someone like Theodore or Columbus, who just believed in themselves.
Yes, that self-belief, that projection of authority, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy to some extent. People respond to the image you present.
And speaking of image, Law 37, create compelling spectacles. The power of visuals and grand gestures.
Humans are visual creatures. We're drawn to drama, symbols. A powerful image or a grand event can capture attention, build mystique, create awe, and, importantly, distract from other things.
Like Cleopatra arriving on her barge. That's the classic example, right?
Absolutely. It wasn't just transportation. It was a carefully crafted spectacle designed to impress Antony and establish her power and allure. Unforgettable imagery.
What about dealing with anger? Law 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. Keep cool while making your enemies lose theirs.
That's the essence. Anger clouds judgment, makes people reckless and predictable. If you can stay calm and objective while subtly provoking your opponents into an emotional state,
You gain the advantage.
significantly.
Yeah.
You can exploit their mistakes, guide the situation. Think of the Japanese judge Itakura, using the calm ritual of the tea ceremony to maintain his own composure while hearing heated cases.
Law 40 warns us, despise the free lunch. Be suspicious of things offered for nothing.
It's a fundamental caution. Things that seem free often have hidden costs, obligations, or tricks attached. Nothing of real value usually comes without some kind of exchange.
Like the con artist, the Yellow Kid, Joseph Weil. He played on that desire for easy gain.
Masterfully. He understood that the lure of getting something for nothing makes people lower their guard. So always question the free offer. Look for the strings.
Getting towards the end here, Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Go after the leader.
Yeah, often a group's energy or opposition comes from one key person, the instigator, the shepherd. If you can neutralize that single source of trouble,
The whole group falls apart or loses direction.
often, yes, it disrupts their cohesion, their morale. Think about the fall of the favorite in old courts. Removing one key influential advisor could often pacify much wider discontent.
And finally, a really interesting psychological one, Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. doing what your enemies do.
Exactly. By mirroring their actions, their tactics, you confuse them. They don't know how to react because you're not giving them a unique response to
Yeah.
push against. It can also highlight the absurdity of their own behavior.
And infuriate them because they can't figure you out.
Precisely. It's unsettling, disarming. The example of Sin no Rikyu perfectly mirroring a practical joke played on him is, well, it's quite elegant. It taught a lesson without direct confrontation.
So wrapping up this deep dive into just the selection of these laws, it's clear Greene's work offers this sometimes uncomfortable but really potent way of looking at how people interact, especially when power is involved.
Definitely. You don't have to agree with every law or find them all ethical, but understanding them gives you a powerful lens. It helps you see the patterns, recognize the strategies people might be using, consciously or not.
It's like gaining a vocabulary for analyzing the dynamics around you.
Exactly. It's drawn from centuries of observation of human behavior. It gives you tools for navigating these complex social currents with, hopefully, a bit more awareness.
So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. Start noticing. How might these principles be playing out in your workplace, your social circles, even just in the news you watch? Observing these dynamics with this framework in mind, well, it might just change how you see things.
Food for thought.
Thanks for taking the deep dive with us today.